In this section, we'll take a brief look at the stages of communication development in children so that you can work out which film is right for your child's stage of language development. It's important to remember that there's usually a wide range of what we consider appropriate for a particular age. The information here is taken from what's generally considered to be the age ranges in which certain skills emerge. Your child may be doing more than what's expected for their age. They may also be doing less than is expected. If this is the case, don't panic. Talk through your concerns with your health visitor, GP or local speech and language therapy service. For children having trouble with their talking, listening or socialising, it's really important to seek help as early as possible.
In the womb. Your developing baby is truly amazing. They can feel sound around them at about 23 days of being in the womb. At about 4 months, they can hear it. And at 5 months, they can detect light from the outside. They'll startle at a blinking light if it's shone on mum's tummy. At 6 months, they can actually respond to outside sound by kicking and moving. At birth. Within minutes of being born, your baby will show a preference for contact with people rather than objects. They'll turn their head to the sound of voices rather than other sounds, especially familiar voices like mum and dad's. And they're attracted to faces and will look intently at them, although they'll only be able to see things that are about 20 to 25 centimetres away. This is about the distance adults hold babies to feed and cuddle. Even a few minutes after birth, babies show a really impressive skill. They can actually copy facial expressions. They'll study a face really seriously, and if the adult slowly and repetitively sticks their tongue out, they'll copy. They can show us that even from the word go, they want to connect and be with us. By 3 months, your baby will turn towards familiar sounds like your voice more readily now. They'll also recognise their parents' voices and be calmed by them. Your baby will communicate mainly by crying quite frequently, especially when unhappy or hungry, but will also start to make cooing and gurgling sounds. They'll start to make eye contact for slightly longer and longer periods of time. By 6 months, they'll start cooing and gurgling more and start babbling. This is forming sounds that we use in real words such as ba or ma. They'll make these noises to get your attention as they start to learn that vocalising means you get your needs met. Your baby will pay real attention to your face when you're talking to them now, and they'll get very excited when you interact with them. You'll even start to have some lovely early conversations where your baby makes sounds back to you when you talk to them. They can pick up on your mood and emotions now and respond accordingly to these by smiling, laughing or quietening down. You'll start to find that your baby has distinctly different cries for different needs. For example, tired, hungry, wanting attention, and you'll soon tune into what each one means. By 1 year old, your child will now look at you when their name's called and continue looking as you talk to them. They'll focus on different sounds around them like birdsong, phones ringing, doorbells. They'll use strings of sounds which sound like real talk like ma 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 ma, ba 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 ba. And these will have the sing-song pattern of adult-sounding sentences. Your child's really getting to grips with the two-way nature of communication now and will make noises and point to get your attention. They might use other gestures like clapping and waving. They'll start understanding some simple everyday words like bye-bye or gone, especially if you use a gesture with them. And they'll also understand some of the names of familiar items like ball, daddy or cup. Their turn taking in conversations with adults is now really moving on, and they'll babble back at you, especially if you leave them time to respond. Rather excitingly, your child might make some attempts at their first words, like mum, 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 dada, or moo. By 18 months, your child will be using single words and probably will be able to say around 20 words. These are usually familiar words they hear at home every day, like milk, daddy, mummy, car, more. These words might not sound as they're supposed to, and you might be the only one who understands what they're trying to say.
Dolly?
This is completely normal. Your child's speech sounds will still take a few years to be fully developed. They'll start to be able to attend to and understand short, simple instructions like kiss Teddy, car, or all gone. They might even be able to point to words they know if you ask them, like, where's your ball? Or show me the book. They'll enjoy simple, interactive games like peekaboo and be able to take a more active part in these games. They'll also start to show some early pretend play, like pretending to drink from a cup or talk on the phone. By 2 years of age, your child will be able to use about 50 single words or more. And again, these will be words which come up every day at home, like ball, juice, bath, apple, ouch. They'll also start to put these words together in simple 2 or 3 word phrases, like more juice, bye-bye daddy, mummy car. Your child will start to ask you lots and lots of questions like, what that? And who that? Try to be patient and answer them. They're exploring and learning about the world through you. They can understand 200 to 500 words and some simple instructions like, where's your tummy? Or go and get your shoes. They can focus on their own choice of activity, but might find it difficult to follow instructions from an adult. They'll be starting to enjoy pretend play more now, and this will not just involve themselves, they'll also enjoy pretend play with their toys like feeding Dolly or pretending to drive a bus. They'll talk and make noises as they play. They'll be able to sit and listen to simple stories with pictures, and they'll enjoy this.
Lots of cars there, isn't there?
At this stage, they'll be using a limited number of sounds in their words. Often these are p, b, t, d, m and w. They might miss the ends off words at this stage, but they're becoming a bit more easily understood by others. By 3 years of age, your child will use lots of different types of words, like prepositions, which are position words such as in, on, under. Verbs, which are action words, like jumping, sleeping, eating. And words relating to quantity, like lots or none. And words for who they are, such as me. They'll put these words into 4 to 5 word sentences, like Teddy sleeping in bed. Look out for lots more questions too. They'll want you to name lots of things and will also ask why questions over and over again. They'll start using the plural s, for example, an S on the end of words to show more than one, such as books and apples. They'll be able to understand longer instructions like make Dolly jump or put your shoes under the bed, and simple question forms like who, what and where. They can listen and attend to adult instructions, but might find it easier if you use their name to get their attention first. Their speech is becoming a lot clearer now, but they might still shorten longer words like nana for banana or copter for helicopter. Clusters of sounds will be tricky. This is where 2 or 3 sounds happen together in a word. So you might hear boo for blue or bider for spider. Some sounds like s, f, sh, ch, u, w, y are also still tricky, so you may hear sops for shops, teas for cheese or wabbit for rabbit. Your child's now able to remember simple stories as well as sit and listen to them. They can engage in pretend play for longer bursts and use more complicated ideas. Your child will now have proper conversations with you, responding to your questions and asking you questions in return. Your child might experience some episodes of stuttering, also known as stammering or disfluency. Lots of children go through brief stages of this. It's usually because they're eager to share their developing thoughts and ideas while their language skills are still developing and haven't yet quite caught up with what they want to say. Listen to your child and allow them plenty of time to finish. Don't be tempted to finish sentences off for them. Children can tend to go through a normal stage of disfluency as their skills are developing, but if this continues for more than a few months, or if there's a family history of stammering, then you should seek advice from your speech and language therapist. Early support is crucial. By 4 years of age, your child can use longer sentences and link them together with simple conjunctions. These are joining words. like and, such as we went swimming today and then we had lunch at Granny's house. Your child will also ask lots of what, where and why questions, and now answer why questions, giving reasons for something happening. So, why is Teddy sad? Your child might say, because he bumped his head. They'll now be able to talk about events in the past, not just the here and now. And they can use words relating to colour, red or blue, number, 5 monkeys, 3 bananas, and time, I'm going to nursery tomorrow. But they'll still make mistakes with tenses of action words. For example, runned for ran or fooled for fell. Your child's speech will be fluent and much clearer, but they might still have some problems with more difficult sounds like th, sh and j. They'll now be able to listen to longer stories and answer questions relating to what they've just heard, like who ate Little Bear's porridge or why was Mummy Bear angry? They'll still find it difficult to attend to more than one thing at once, so they may need to stop what they're doing in order to listen to your instructions. They'll enjoy making up their own little jokes, although most of these won't make much sense. And their imaginative play will really be taking off, and they'll love to plan games with other children which have longer storylines or rules. By 5 years old, your child can engage and take turns in much longer conversations. Their sentences are longer and well formed, like, I saw a little dog in the park and he chased the birds. Some aspects of grammar which don't follow the usual rules might still be tricky, and in English there are lots of these, like plurals. They might say mouses for mice, or braked for broke. They'll learn new words all the time and will think more about the meaning of words. They'll understand more complex words and language, for example, words relating to sequencing like first, next, last, or more complicated position words like above or in between, and conditional words like might or maybe. Your child may be able to retell stories they've heard using the language of stories and sequencing, such as once upon a time or first they went to the park. Their attention is much more mature and flexible now, and they can continue attending to the task in hand whilst listening to adult instructions. Their speech will be fluent and most sounds will now be developed, although some words may still be tricky if they're long or have lots of sounds clustered together like spaghetti, stripy or elephant. They'll engage in some much more complex pretend play and games with rules too. They'll use language with other children and adults to socialise, problem solve, negotiate, learn, express ideas and emotions and build relationships.